Let's create an Hibernate application. So we'll create an application inside a Java perspective right now. So just create a new Java project. Let's give the name as Hibernate Practical. Next, finish. So you'll see this Hibernate Practical has been created. Now, as this is a Hibernate Practical, we need to just add the jar files related to Hibernate framework. So just select a configure build path, add external jars, select all the jar files related to Hibernate. In addition to that, we need a separate jar file for PostgreSQL. So I'm selecting a jar file for PostgreSQL also. So this is all the jar files have been added. Just click OK. So you'll see in this reference library all these jar files have been added. So now the next step is in the source folder of your Hibernate Practical project, just create a package let's say MCA. Finish. Then one more thing we need to add to this project is a source folder. So just give the name as resources. Just click finish. So you'll see this resources folder when added. Now in this particular package, let's create a persistence class. Let's give the persistent class name as department. No need to give public static void main. Just click finish. So you'll see this dpt id, and you can give one more variable as dpt name and generate the getter setters for this source. Generate getter setters, select all, click OK. So you'll see all these files, all these getter setters have been generated. This is my persistent class. Next step is we need to add some configurations files in resources folder. So I'll just take it from any other project. So yes, we have this configuration files. Let's copy this, paste it in the resources. Now see the conventions that we have to give for these XML files. This is my hibernate.cfg.xml. This is okay, but the naming conventions for this department.hbm.xml, the first name should be of persistent class name only, and .hbm.xml. So when you click on this HBM file, this should be the name of your first class, and this should be the name of a table that you want to create in a table. So I'm just giving the name instead of dpt table, department table, and this is the ID. It will be a primary key for this particular column, and generator class increment will auto increment that particular column. So your dpt name properties, if you want some more addition properties, you can add a new properties also. So this is my configuration files. Just open this Hibernate configuration files. When you see this configuration file, it has all the things related to your database. Like this should be in first when you're creating or inserting some records. So that time it should be create. When you're fetching the records, that time it should be a select. When updating, it should be an update. Now this is the dialect that we are adding for Postgres. This is the dialect, and this is the configuration URL that you're giving. This is the database name where you're creating this. This is the username and the password for the Postgres, and this is the driver name. And this is the name, that file, configuration file that you have to map inside the Hibernate CFG.xml. So this is my Hibernate.cfg.xml. Next thing is we need to create a DAO class, which will be a direct access object. So here we want main. Now just start with the package input org.hibernate org.hibernate.cfg. Begin with the try catch. exception comes, just handle that exception. Now just begin with the configuration. So configuration, create its object, CFG equals to new configuration, then CFG dot configure, specify the file name, should be Hibernate dot CFG dot XML. Next we want a session factory. So factory equals to CFG dot build session factory. Then we want a session variable of session equals to C equals to factory dot open session. Then we want a transaction, creates this object, then session dot, you have to just begin the transaction. So now next step is create the object for depart assistant class. So obj equals to new department, then add the values for that department. As ID we have given auto incremented. Let's give this as, now just save this object in a session and commit that transaction, and just close that session. And just give the message if everything is over, then just save it fully. So all the things have been done. Let's execute this. So expected output is a department table should be created along with one record for MCM. So you'll see the message saved successfully. Let's open a Postgres and see whether table department has been created or not. So this is the Postgres. Database was Postgres. So the table name was department. We'll just view that record if it is available or not. So this is the record that we have added. That is an expected output. Thank you.